are the ones lying to children. And if I seem overly concerned with this stuff, let me just explain to you my position so that you guys understand it. I do feel bad for moving a lot of people into the flat earth belief. Okay. I feel bad. And so it does bother me now because a lot of people have said, why don't you just walk away from it? Even Karen said it in her live stream. She said, why doesn't Jaron just walk away and not go after flat earth? The reason why is because I see now why people are stuck there. I didn't see that when I was in flat earth. I had no idea that people were keeping up live videos and that more, I didn't look at that. I didn't pay attention to that. So now that I can see it happening, it frightens me because I don't like the idea of people that are in the flat earth because of me being lied to actively and not being helped. Again, when I was a flat earther, I thought I was helping people. I thought that we were exposing a lie. I thought that we were trying to change the world. Okay. So now, obviously, I don't believe that anymore. So regardless, if you guys are still doing that, if you were acting like we're trying to save the world, we're trying to expose a lie, great. But that's not what I see. What I see is you're actively lying, leaving up false videos. Everybody's on the same team over there. Doesn't matter what illegal actions are going on. Doesn't matter what crimes are being committed. It doesn't matter how much Flatzoid lies and pushes people under the bus and says that Lisbeth was on my stream and shit that it wasn't true. And nobody from the Flat Earth even cares. And that bothers me because I got into the flat earth, so did I thought everybody, because they're like, hey, the school system's lying to us and the government's lying to us and we hate lies and we hate indoctrination. And so we're doing this to save them. Okay, now I want to tell you, you are the ones lying to children. You didn't like the idea of the school system indoctrinating children with a false belief. And now you are the ones indoctrinating children with the false belief. What am I doing here? Why don't I just walk away? Because I need to keep saying it just so I can be sure in my heart that every single person that I've ever spoken to, or anybody who's convinced of the flat earth because of me, at least hears me say these things. If they choose after that to still follow, knowing what I just said about being lied to, being debunked and not taking down your video, committing crimes, nobody cares. They all celebrate it and laugh, hee-haw in the chat. If those people hear me say that and they still choose to remain in that camp, that's on them. I just feel for those. I don't even really feel for the content creators anymore. Don't care for them. Don't care about them. If Karen wants to forever hang out in flat earth land and tell people how the sun matches the globe earth, go ahead. How everything in the sky matches the globe earth, go right ahead. My problem is with the people that are watchers who don't research this stuff because their only voice is the creators. That's who. And again, like I said, if nobody's going in and telling Dave Weiss, Dave, your stuff is wrong. That can't be true for this reason, that reason. And Dave's not pulling it, then it is an echo chamber of the worst kind. And so imagine, think about the people you've seen in Facebook. They are horrendous people, right? But if they all believe it, now we know why. It's because they're not seeing the debunk stuff. And granted, they don't see me anymore. I get that. But my hope is that somebody sends something. That's why I'm doing all those clips. Hopefully you guys have seen the clips start coming out, exposing this stuff. Now, we were going to do this real quick. I'm just going to show you a couple of these just because it's, this is my Facebook. Okay. And I'm just noticing here, this is my video right now that we're playing. Okay. And look at the comments. Jaron, no one cares about you, bro. You stay crying. How's the comments already? Thanks for leaving the darkness, Jaron. The earth is flat and motionless, never been proven otherwise. I mean, it's just false. It's just false. It has been proven otherwise. It's been shown numerous ways. Research flat earth, bro. I mean, this is me trying to point out to them, hey, this week is an eclipse, but the globe model says totality will happen above the North Pole, so no person will see it. But on flat earth, no such thing exists since the North Pole is the center. So I'm sure someone can tell me where one can see totality on flat earth. If no one can, welcome back to the globe. Okay. And 475 comments will be some gross ones, I'm sure. Clown face, right? What a joke. Obvious shill. Right. Obvious shill that I just said the truth about what's going on. The AE model isn't the only concept of a flat plane, bro, and it actually is. And there will never be another one. So you notice how they'll say this, but do they say what the actual real one is? No. They won't tell us another one. Why? There's no such thing. Hopefully somebody in here said that. The same problem exists here, bro. What do you mean? If the globe says nobody saw totality at the eclipse because the totality happens above the North Pole, meaning in space, so nobody can see it. So when the eclipse happened, if the Earth were flat, somebody on the Earth would see the eclipse because it wouldn't miss the North Pole above it because the North Pole has things behind it. It's not a ball. So if you just draw the map like this now, do you realize there's still a North Pole? So when the eclipse happens, then these people should see totality, but nobody saw it. Why? Because it happened in space. The person says, he knows. No, I don't. There isn't another one. Yeah, no flirt can explain why distances get smaller, right? So water now curves and the Earth is now spinning since Jaren says so? Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, the water definitely curves and the Earth is spinning very, very, very slow. If you want to see how fast the Earth spins, go outside and watch the moon and tell me how fast you think. Are you going to fly off the Earth? Don't think so. Luminaries in the sky don't determine the shape of the ground. Here we go. So this is what's called indoctrination. Where do you think this person learned to say that statement? Do you think they got it out of a book? Do you think they got it out of a history book, out of a geology book? Or do you think they got it from flat earthers because it's the only place it's ever been said and it's retarded? Which one do you think? If flat earthers were in charge of the world, we wouldn't have automobiles. We wouldn't have boats. We wouldn't, because to get those things, you go through a trial and error where people have to admit they were wrong. Oh, how did you build that boat? I built it like this and it's better. Oh, wow, great. Let's move on with that new training. And everybody moves forward and things get better and society increases in its knowledge. If you have flat earthers inject in there, then all of a sudden they don't care when they're debunked. They don't care when they're told they're wrong. They don't care when their model's been falsified. They don't care when their boats sink. They just keep saying the same things and it confuses everybody and holds back humanity. Does that mean there are upside down people in planes and boats on a supersonic wobbling water pair with no up and down and curved oceans? LOL. I mean, these people are just going to be gone, you know, and nobody's upside down. Nobody's upside down. Everybody has their local down towards the center of the earth. So how could anybody be upside down versus anybody else? Do you understand that? Probably not. You have a point, but you gotta be at least at the undecided part, never a globe. No, there's no other options. And the globe is predicted. It predicts every observation, predicts every one. You can go to anywhere on the globe and you can know exactly where the sun will rise, what time, and the angle if you place yourself on the globe at the right location. The flat earth cannot do that with one spot. Okay, never in hell can it be a globe. Well, that's not a good scientific position to take. Sav said the other day, if he ever says the earth is a globe, then you know he's been compromised. Sav, that's not smart. That's not smart, because now you can never see the truth. You just dug your feet in and you will forever be a flat earther, and that's scary. The stars are fixed, but my guess is north is the sun, Antarctica, and moon is south, Arctic. What? But the projection of the moon is from all types of lands. Can we read this part again? I should read this again. Never in hell can be a globe. The stars are fixed, but my guess is north is the sun, Antarctica, and moon is south, Arctic, or somewhere south, and the projection of the moon is from all types of lands. Did you guys know that? Great truth there. Please enlighten us. What is your scientific method to prove spinning ball Earth? You love balls now. Just like that. If none of these people are watching my show, do you understand? None of them will watch me. And the reason why they won't watch is because it's easier just to pop into this chat, pretend like you're cool and say like, oh, you have never explained why you do these things or why you changed. But they won't watch the 12 episodes. Dude, I only keep you around on Facebook because I need a good laugh every other day or so. This is great comedy. Well, sad that you aren't seeing the truth behind it. If you want to have a good time, go look at all this stuff. Go look at all my posts. This one was one that, I mean, I couldn't believe the people on this one. So I just said, watch this animation. That is real data. Okay, what that means is that this is really the angle that each of these people will see the sun at this time of day. So it's real data. It is a cartoon. Nobody said it wasn't a cartoon. So it says animation. People in the south looking at the sun and it's total mess. And it's a total mess. Then it goes into a 48-hour time lapse and the lines try to stay with the sun. On a flat earth, it makes no sense. Everyone is looking in a different direction. Then it flips to a globe and what do you know? Now it makes sense. God didn't make the world a deception. There is a south celestial pole because there is a south pole. All observations match and are predicted by the globe. Flat earth can do nothing. It can't predict and it can't explain. So hate me all you want, but I'm the one being honest. Your top flat earthers are lying to you because they tell you what you want to hear. I tell you the truth. Hate me for the truth. It's fine by me. I'm not going to try much longer. I'm trying to help those who can't see, and I'm not going to try much longer. Some don't want to see. I get that. But if you were a real truther, then you follow evidence and not your own hopes and wishes. I wanted the earth to be flat. I really did. But evidence shows the earth cannot and will not ever be flat. You don't have to believe me, but one day you'll realize, damn, Jaren was right. But we're watching this now just so you can see. Now watch, they're following the sun. Look at the GMT. Does this look like reality too? That's where everybody looks to see the sun. Okay, that's a problem. How could the sun be in all those places? But now he's going to flip it to a globe. Let's see if that fixes any of these issues. When you flip it to a globe, everyone's still looking in the same direction that they were. But now you realize, oh shit, everyone's looking at the sun far away in the same direction. Which one do you think is reality? Which one do you think is real? The one that everybody looks in a different direction to see the sun, or the one that says we all look in the same direction? So since you're so sure the earth is a globe, tell me your best globe evidence and I will show you where you're wrong. I have an entire 12 video series. Okay. These guys all want me to answer them in individual messages on Facebook. And I'm like, I don't have time to do that. I've already done videos about it. Sorry, but this makes no sense at all. How do you explain the local sun rays? They're not local. How do you explain railroad tracks diverging from the horizon? Aren't they parallel? Okay, so the sun rays are probably parallel too, right? How do you explain the clouds above the sun? Never happened, never been shown, never been seen at all. This is Laura Nina. Holy shit. Laura, you're about to embarrass yourself if I'm going to read the rest of this, but a lot of people look up to you. And if you're this out there, how do you explain the fact that there has never been proven curvature? There has. All I have to do to explain that is that you refuse to accept reciprocal zenith angles, refuse to accept leveling and surveying. So there has been curvature. I'm looking at a rocket take off from 200 miles away, and it doesn't show up till 1 minute and 5 seconds, which is what the globe model predicts because it's behind the curve. Okay, there has been proven curvature. How do you explain that lasers, sonar waves, beams cannot work on a curve, but they can? You just claiming they cannot work doesn't make any sense. Light bends with refraction. It can get around corners and bends of Earth. So he's got a video in here that this one here. Watch carefully here.
This is one that any idiot can do. Let me just finish this, okay? Yep. So I rounded down because they always, refraction, things refract up.
Yeah, but where are you choosing the location? I want to write down this research.
This is just a frozen lake. We've done it over Lake Balaton.
Where?
This one, I don't know exactly where this one is. I forget. But we have a whole bunch of ones we did. We did a laser 20.
Nobody, not we, Dave. That's a lie. We, no,
6-mile laser test over Lake Balaton, and it showed no curvature. And the curvature of 26 miles is far more than this, right? But these are rounded down, giving the globe every benefit of the doubt. So what does this mean? So if we look, if the Earth is flat, it means the camera's here, and it could see all of these lights, and they all line up. If the Earth is a globe at 6,
if the Earth is a globe with refraction, then it means that light bends towards the normal. Okay, denser atmosphere is going to bend down the light. Well, yes, it bends down, and then you're going to see it as higher. So this is bent this way. So these are actually just lifted up, and it doesn't. I know this curve looks like a lot. Remember, we're talking about such a small distance that it just comes up a little bit, and we see everything further than we should. That's a globe claim. They say with refraction that we can see a little further. This is why you don't see 1,000 miles when you're only supposed to see 100. This is why you see 8 miles when you should only see 6. Okay? Think about the Black Swan. Everybody knows about the Black Swan. Did you know that BML's Bo is on record of saying that he went there many times over 6 months, and that was only seen that one time? Okay? Clearly, it's an optical effect. Clearly, it's not an everyday observation. So when you think about it, all that's happening when you're watching that Black Swan is it's a high refraction day, so you're seeing much further behind the curve. It's being lifted up and shown to you. And then Dave always says, why isn't it shown up here in the sky? Why is it showed right at the horizon? Well, now you should recognize that you're seeing the ground. You're looking off in the distance and you see the ground. And because of refraction, the ground is lifted up. So you're seeing much further on the ground. Why would this ground go into the sky? You're looking at the ground. You're just seeing further.
6 inches, the horizon should be about a mile away. So then you have the tangent of the Earth. And all of these are refracting up the perfect amount to appear to be at this tangent.
Correct.
That's what you have to believe if you believe the Earth is curved.
Right. And if you believe it's flat, you just have to believe that there's a flat Earth that can't explain anything, can't make any prediction.
That they're refracting up and they're tricking you. They don't refract higher. They refract up to the exact level of the tangent of this viewer.
Yeah, you're seeing further on the ground. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing further on the ground.
That's what you have to believe. That's crazy. The reason you can't figure it out is not because you're stupid. It's because it's stupid.
I want to know who will buy the shirt. I'm going to get a shirt that says, it's not because you're stupid, Dave's stupid. Would you guys buy that shirt? It's going to say, it's not because you're stupid, it's because the Earth is stupid.
Right? The globe is the dumbest thing ever.
Let's find out if he's lying.
All right. Anyway, I mean, things like this. I mean, so like they combat evidence with lies, right? You are a government propaganda agent. Give it up already. You have been exposed. Oh, sorry, you can't see the whole thing. I've been exposed, guys, by the way. Well, that's interesting here. This person says, it is what it is. Why people be freaked out. I didn't become a flat earther because of belief. I became flat because of the lack of evidence for a 24-hour sun in the south. We now have that evidence. Wow, I didn't know this. David Conklin. Awesome. Good. This fills my heart with joy. No one flat earth can address the observations. No one. They all deflect, right? Or maybe just maybe sun is something and working on level that we don't know and understand. We do know and understand the sun. We know exactly where it is right now. And in 3 seconds, we know where it's at right now. And we know where it is right now. And now, and now. And in a month, and in a year, and in 10 years, we know where the sun will be. So it doesn't matter what it is. I've told you before, it could be God's piss bowl. If the God's piss bowl went around the sky and brought piss to every country as it went around, and it did that for thousands of years, we could then make predictions of where we live, or we could falsify a map by saying, hey, this says at this time I should be getting pissed on. I'm not. There's a problem here. We don't know the angle of the piss bowl. Right. It doesn't matter what it is. It brings heat and light to the entire world every single day. It goes in a prescribed order. Does it go South America, then Africa? No, it goes Africa, then South America, then New Zealand, then Australia, then Africa. Goes in order. Based on that, we can then take a map and say, does this jive with the known piss bowl in the sky? The answer is it does. Okay. So it doesn't matter what it is. But then this person says I sound like an idiot. What? You just like throw to trash endless flat view and water level proof. Wow, didn't believe I would say about you that, but you sound like an idiot. All right, don't have to tell you. I didn't, again, I'm not going to say evidence is evidence. There's still evidence of the earth being flat. However, just like if you showed up in a murder scene and there's 3 pairs of shoes there, maybe 2 of those pairs of shoes are going to lead you. They're evidence. They are evidence. They will lead you to the incorrect person. One of the pairs of shoes might lead you to the correct person. They're all still evidence. Okay. Now I've taken some of my evidence and we see too far here and we see too far there. And I realized that, oh, that's what the globe claims. And having evidence like, well, we shouldn't, I don't feel the spin. Now I realize we wouldn't. It's extremely slow. Of all people, you should know that the sky doesn't determine the ground. Why should I know that? Because you guys made it up in the last 6 months? You do you. I can't wait for your globe proofs. They're already up there. They're already all over my channel. But you won't have any. There's many. Don't say your observations in Antarctica prove anything because you know, and we all know that what you observed was not the real sun. It has always been an apparent sun, and you saw the apparent sun. Now there's an apparent sun. So don't think you saw the real sun. It just happens to have the same sunspots on it. And yeah, this guy is a joke.